I'm Steve Nolan, I'm a Senior Product Manager with CenturyLink and I manage hosted private cloud products. I'm going to co-present with David Liang, who is a product manager with VMware. He manages VMware Cloud Foundation, and we're going to talk to you about our new world, hyperconverged and software defined. In the past, how we had built out infrastructures, we bought a lot of hardware. We actually had to go through, work out with different vendors, get contracts in place. We had to build out all the different components, tie them together. It was very laborious, but that was the structure that was done. When that hardware needed to be, we wanted new features, new functionality, a lot of times we had to go through and update our hardware. So it was a lot of extra work. We had to, we were tied to the vendor's management tools, the vendor's support methodology, and it just took very much longer to be able to deploy environments. Now we're in this era of software, and why is that so different? What actually, it changes the model considerably relative to the infrastructure. And how it is no longer are we locked into the hardware. And by having a software layer, an abstract layer from VMware, it allows us to be very portable with where we deploy that environment. So we can move out off of that underlying infrastructure that virtualization layer is staying on very easily and deploy that same model across different hardware environments, yet the ability to manage that environment is all done with the same tools. So it all looks the same. You're not dealing with a whole suite of different vendors. It's very tightly integrated and controlled. And what this also implies or means is that when I need new features, I get them through software updates and not hardware updates. Because of the ability that we get through VMware's abstract layer that's layered on here. And what that translates into is much faster deployment times, much faster implementations relative to new features and functionalities, allowing your business to be more agile. So here's a diagram that kind of depicts how we used to build hardware. So with every one of these environments, you always need compute, storage, network, and security. What you had to do in the past is you would work out with each one of those different vendors, all those different pieces that I needed. Right, the routers, the storage pieces, the compute pieces. I then had to tie them together, interwork them, and they're not always the same vendor, so you run into compatibility challenges and issues from time to time, but that was the way that it was done in the past. And now we move to this hyper-converged infrastructure, and with software-defined networking and software-defined capabilities that are layered on top of this hyper-converged infrastructure, just by having a stack of servers, I'm now allowed to integrate into that stack my compute, my storage, my network, my security components, all within one stack of servers. Makes it very easy. And with that software that's included in this type of environment, it allows me to software-define firewalls, server load balancers, VPNs, again, providing a lot of flexibility. And then it's tightly integrated within VMware's software-defined data center as part of the vCloud Foundation software suite that makes it very simple and easy to be able to change that environment as you need. And when I need new features, it's a new software update. I've been involved in building infrastructures for 30 years in various levels and various capacities. This truly changes this environment. Not only does it change it technically, so it's an evolutionary change technically, it's actually also a very large revolutionary change in how we now support the environments. Again, we have those 4 different groups, your compute, storage, network, and security, 4 different teams within an IT support organization, IT structure, that now converges in to one team. And it reminds me of what we all went through back in the day when telephony and LAN was separate. So you had 2 different groups, different departments, and it went through and took multiple years for that convergence to occur, and now we call that team the IT team, our IT group, right? And how that happened, technically it was very capable in the early stages. The aspect of how that's supported and the politics associated with that actually took multiple years. But we're going through that phase now with infrastructure that then now over time what will be happening is those different teams, departments will converge as well, and you'll have subject matter experts all utilizing the same interface with the same tools. I'd like to now turn this over to David Liang, who will talk through the capabilities of vCloud Foundation Software-Defined Data Center Manager.
So before I talk about Cloud Foundation and what it is, I want to set some context. So we asked our customers a couple years ago, where are their workloads sitting today? And the answers we got were quite surprising. most of their workloads still do sit on-prem in a private cloud or in some kind of legacy infrastructure with vSphere. But increasingly, we're seeing that more and more of those workloads are moving to off-premises, colos, native public cloud, or even they're leveraging a lot of the SaaS applications today. And ultimately, we posed the question, how many clouds are you going to have in the future? And 76% told us they're going to be using multiple clouds. So we wanted to go, with this in mind, we wanted to build a product that could really satisfy the needs of our customers as they begin migrating workloads between different clouds and placing them where it makes the most sense. So our ideal end state was really a cloud that could be consistent to operate, whether it's private cloud in your own data center or on a public cloud partner like CenturyLink. We wanted it to be a consistent architecture so that when you built workloads, built applications on one architecture, you can easily migrate it to the next. And finally, we wanted this architecture to be ready for the VM and enterprise workloads of today, as well as the container and future workloads of tomorrow. So I'm happy to introduce Cloud Foundation, and we really view it as a next generation product for VMware. We built our name on compute virtualization with vSphere for a long time, and Cloud Foundation is really that next step. It's not just compute virtualization, it's the entire SDDC stack. So it's your NSX, it's your vCenter, and it's your vSAN, all natively integrated as a singular product. Again, I want to emphasize that we view this entire stack as a singular product that we deliver to the market and deploy as a singular entity. So what does Cloud Foundation really provide? So first of all, it's that consistent architecture across clouds. Whether you want to deploy it on-prem in a private cloud or work with a partner like CenturyLink to deploy it on the public cloud, it's the same architecture, so you don't have to worry about compatibility of your applications. Second of all, it's a very simple way to get a standardized architecture. We are based on the VMware Validated Designs, which is a VMware product built by 100 years of experience developing and deploying data centers. So what we did is we asked this architect group, what is the best way to deploy this SDDC stack? They came back with an architecture and we took that and automated it. So partners like CenturyLink are really deploying this best practice architecture so you as a customer don't have to figure out how do I deploy my NSX manager and how do I maintain this going forward. The third thing I want to mention is the intrinsic security. Because we have NSX, because we have vSphere, we have security built through the entire stack, so you don't have to worry about the threats of today. And finally, it really is enabling that path to the hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is something you hear a lot today, and really what we view it as is being able to move your workloads between the different clouds that you have today. Again, 2/3 have told us that multiple clouds is a reality, so we want to be able to support that. So just diving deeper into the actual underlying components of Cloud Foundation. First is compute. It's the vSphere that you know and love. We make sure that that's the basis of our entire product. But that's not where we end. We also have vSAN for the storage virtualization and NSX for that network virtualization, giving you that complete SDDC stack. From there, we also automate the vRealize suite. So as you think about how do I manage my cloud, how do I view the resources and assets within my data center, we want to help you there by deploying the vRealize operations, vRealize automation, vRealize log insight in a best practice manner. And finally, the last thing I want to touch upon is this lifecycle automation. The only product that is unique to Cloud Foundation is this thing called SDDC Manager. That's basically the automation engine that automates the entire deployment of the stack. There's three key values we have. One is the initial deployment. How do I actually deploy this SDDC stack all as one? The second is, as I grow my infrastructure, how do I easily increase my capacity? That's all handled through the automation of SDDC Manager. And then finally, the lifecycle management. You know how difficult lifecycle management is, manning those interop tables, those matrices. We take care of that nightmare for you. So we're actually testing and validating our bundles, making sure that as you upgrade from one version to the next, your products aren't going to stop working. So as I've alluded to, there's really two consumption models for Cloud Foundation. The first is private cloud in your data center. All you need to do is go ahead, reach out to your hardware vendor, purchase some vSAN-ready nodes, and you can go ahead and deploy this. The licenses are perpetual standard VMware licenses, and basically the entire thing is managed by you. It's racked and stacked in your data center, and the infrastructure, VMs, everything is maintained by you. Alternatively, you might think of leveraging a partner like CenturyLink to host your Cloud Foundation for you. It's a slightly different model, so rather than it being in your own data center, it'll actually be deployed in CenturyLink's data center. Again, it's the same architecture, the same product suite deployed natively within the in the CenturyLink data center. It's actually consumed as a service. So you work with CenturyLink to build out the Cloud Foundation instance for your needs, and you pay on that on a consumption basis rather than on a perpetual basis. Finally, that entire infrastructure will be managed by CenturyLink. So you don't have to worry about actual physical hardware. That problem is left to CenturyLink. But at the end of the day, that infrastructure is still yours. So the VMs, the applications, and everything that sits on that virtual infrastructure will still be owned and maintained by you. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to Steve to talk about how CenturyLink is leveraging Cloud Foundation.
Thanks, David. So what I'm going to talk about is the hosted private cloud product that we created based on VMware's Cloud Foundation software suite. It's what we call CenturyLink Private Cloud on VMware Cloud Foundation, excuse me. So CenturyLink and VMware make it easy for you to do these, put together and receive a hosted private cloud product from us. We are a 100% VMware solution for, we use VMware for all of our cloud products today. We worked very closely with VMware in a little over a year to be able to create a product that was based on VMware Cloud Foundation, but also we wanted to tweak it with our engineering team. We wanted to make some adjustments to it due to feedback we received from our architects and our customers of what they wanted into a solution for a hosted private cloud product. But we also wanted to make sure that it was VMware Cloud verified and met the VMware's validated design methodology. So that's why we worked very closely with VMware architects, VMware engineers to create our specific product based on VMware Cloud Foundation. We at CenturyLink have what we call applications without borders methodology. And what that means is and this is what we're able to do with the advent of hyper-converged infrastructure with software-defined networking. So it doesn't matter if it's your private cloud, it's a hosted private cloud from CenturyLink, a hosted private cloud provided by VMware Cloud Foundation. We have the ability to, as well as sprinkle in a public cloud on top of that, we have the ability to layer that in to provide a seamless cloud solution for all of your enterprise, and you choose where your applications need to sit, where the best place is for those applications, and move them across those clouds, again, as it meets your needs and requirements. What we did when we created this product is we went ahead and put together, of course, the vCloud Foundation software suite. We layered in a vCloud Extender for a self-service migration tool, and we front end that with VMware's vCloud Foundation. What that does is it ties all of those different managers, your vCenter, your NSX manager, your software-defined data center manager, into a front end that allows you to manipulate that one environment. What we also decided to do is to build this out as an all-you-can-eat type of licensing model, meaning when we designed that infrastructure for your specific solution, it doesn't matter if you have 10 VMs on there or 100 VMs on there. You get to decide the oversubscription model, you get to decide what fits on those resources. The cost is based on a per host cost, so it doesn't break it down to a per VM usage type of solution. That flat type of pricing was, again, feedback that we received from our user community as well as our architects, where it allows them to better budget and control, and it gives them still plenty of flexibility. Example in the flexibility in what we did relative to solutions is we have over 480 configuration solutions available to you. And how we achieve this is a build to order type of product. We have our architects sit down with you and design that specific private cloud where all the equipment, all the software is 100% dedicated to you and allows you to then get the best benefits relative to the solution that meets your needs. You're able to adjust and tweak on how much storage you have per host, how much RAM you have per host, which CPUs are in that host, and we built that out, that environment out specifically for you. We then have the concept of borderless management. So what this means is we layer in, so at the base level of this product, it is a managed infrastructure as a service. We have the ability to layer in advanced managed services to be able to manage as much of that as you want or as little as you want. At its base level, as a managed infrastructure as a service, we provide all the self-service tools for you to be able to build out your environments. I describe it as we provide the paint and the canvas and allow you to paint the picture that you want, okay? We then have the ability to layer in various services such as our cloud optimization and analytics tools from our managed services anywhere products called Cloud Application Manager. What this allows you to do is from one single pane of glass, allows you to be able to manipulate, manage, control the private cloud from us, a private cloud from VMware Cloud on AWS, a public cloud from Azure or from Google, as well as others that we're adding into the portfolio, all from that single interface. So then why partner with CenturyLink? Hey, look, we've been doing this for a very long time. We are not a cloud company. We are an enterprise technology solutions company that just so happens to have hundreds of products, of which about a half a dozen of them are cloud products. It's that type of flexibility is why companies come to us to provide solutions for their environments. We've been doing this for a very long time. We layer in methodologies and that allow you with the network that we own to allow you to push that solution to wherever it is that you want and then reduce that latency as with the software-defined networking at the Cloud Connect layer that's available to you. What does this mean? So we have network in over 1,900 on-net data centers, over 360 CenturyLink data centers, over 100,000 buildings are on-net, and it continues to grow. This is what allows us to provide that ability to where milliseconds do matter, because we can provide that dedicated network to your solution, layering on our network orchestration to provide that capability in very fast. Right, so you're able to turn up or turn down your network at the push of a button. Okay. We then, of course, layer in our global managed services, our multi-layered adaptive security methodologies, as well as a full suite of IT consulting that we have available to our customers, and the enterprise tools that we provide for those environments for our customers to be able to utilize. What does this mean to you? It means real value to your business, better user experience by that simplified interface that allows you to address those multi-cloud environments, by that dedicated private cloud that is all yours to control your over-subscription model to what meets your best needs, as well as the ability to a lower cost to operate as we simplified the tools that are available when we move to the hyper-converged infrastructure type of environment. And of course, dynamic security controls that are able to be layered onto the environment, and those can be applied to the various environments within your infrastructure. A consistent user experience that your users will love, a cost-effective way for your IT operations that will also love as it makes their jobs easier. Thank you very much for your time.